Welcome to the Talking the Line podcast, presented to you by Talking the Line Sports Media, giving you our best insights and analysis so you can rake in some cold hard cash on your next sports bet. Now sit on back, open up your mind, and let's cash some tickets. We can't thank you enough for joining us. We hope you enjoy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, degenerates and gamblers far and wide. Welcome in to episode number 60 of the Talking the Line podcast. Hey, thank you so much for taking a few moments out of your day to come and kick it with the crew on this beautiful Wednesday of bets. Now, before we talk some lines, as always, and dive deep into the value that we found on today's slates, please take a few minutes to smash that subscribe button on whatever platform you are currently ingesting the Talking the Line podcast on, whether that be on YouTube or the audio recorded version on your favorite podcasting directory. And if you're on YouTube, might as well hit that notification button as well. And if you got a few extra seconds and you could be so kind, go ahead, hit that like button, leave us a comment, leave us a rating, give us your feedback, because we cannot tell you how much we appreciate it when you do. And it only helps us make TTL Sports Media bigger and better for each and every one of you. Last but certainly not least, head on over to this episode's description where you will find the Talking the Line link tree. Within that link tree, you will locate all of the TTL crew's content and social platforms so you can consume us however and whenever you please. Beautiful gambling people joining us on today's show. I am your humble host, Colt 45 Soroka. And I cannot thank you enough for taking the time out of your day to come and hang out with me and my partner. It's about that time for me to bring in my partner. But before I do, first things first, decided to break out the old Redbird shirt today. Roll Birds, as always. We are both ISU alumni, so always got to shout out the alma mater when we get a chance. But without further ado, time to bring in the co-host of the Talking the Line podcast, a man that I am honored to call one of my best friends and beyond thrilled. Couldn't even find a word for how excited I am that I get the opportunity to lock arm in arm with this man day in and day out for the daily battles with the books. He has returned to form and has started to cash nothing but tickets. He is running to the pay window at a very rapid pace, and if you want to get some extra dough in your bankroll, I suggest you start tailing him. But without further ado, the man, the myth, the degenerate gambling legend himself, Mr. Riley RMags Magnuson. Partner, how you doing over there today, pal?
My man, I'm feeling pretty good. It is a beautiful day over here in sunny Chicago. The weather is perfect. Is my mic on, my man? Okay.
Oh, it's sounding terrific.
Okay, because I'm not hearing it too well in my headphones over here. But despite that, everything is rocking and rolling, and we are all set to go for a wild, wild show. And as you mentioned, I'm heating up here, heating up on the pod picks. So I've got not too much to complain about. Everything all set?
Everything's all set, my friend. You know, the host of the Talking the Line podcast is also the producer and the technical wizard, while he also tries to help me figure out some of the wires and cabling all running all over the place. But you do sound very well in the headphones, my friend. Can hear you loud and clear. Boy, oh boy, do we got an episode coming at you today. You might have read it in the description, but if you got a case of the midweek blues, not anymore, because we got the show cooked up for you today that you need to get you right back on the right foot and cashing a few tickets, get your mindset in the right spot, maybe get some laughs and definitely some inspiration along the way. But before we get into all of that, tell you a little bit about what we got coming today. We are a full transparency show here at the Talking the Line pod, so we always like to give you yesterday's recap. So without further ado, let's get into to yesterday's best bets
do
of
it.
the day. First things first, if you turn your attention to the left side of your screen, my man RMags went 2-0-1 yesterday, cashed the Mets' first 5 money line against my Cubbies on a sac fly to win 3-2, and the Indians was slight work, 7-2 win over the Orioles yesterday for the Indians. And then the Reds' first 5 money line, nice little push, nothing crazy. As for me, I got some splaining to do. 1-3-1 day for me, but I will let you know, outside of the Braves' first 5 plus a half, that one absolutely blew my mind, and they actually tied it in the bottom of the 6th inning, if you didn't see it, so wonderful beat there. But the Pirates were a little bit more of a stretch for me, and the Islanders were a little bit more of a stretch. If I had any losses, those were going to be my 2. I was expecting 4-2, but little 1-3-1 day, but it's okay. RMags saved us, and if you played the 2 for Tuesday parlay, that baby cashed out for us. So we're 1-1 in our special plays this week. Got 2 special plays coming at you. Tell you about that in just a second. But overall, we went 4-3-2 as a crew yesterday. So seems like plus money to me, my friend.
Yeah, something like that.
Something something along those lines. If you side played the Moneyline Dice on their double down for the Blue Jays money line, unfortunately, it was a loss. Lost it 6-5 in the late innings, and now got a little cocky. Now the dice are 1-1 on the week. They do have another MLB matchup to get to tonight, so we will be sure to let them unleash their power, their all-knowing knowledge, and let them roll for an MLB matchup tonight. You got to stick around for the Moneyline Dice segment today to find out exactly what 2 teams we're going to be rolling between. Speaking of today's show, loaded, can you say? Got first segment of the day, Crew's best bets of the day. Obviously, RMag's best bets. He's got 2 coming at you. Then mine. I'm going to pull the reins back just a little bit. Got 3 picks coming at you today. Then I mentioned just a little bit ago that 2 special plays today. Another Wednesday. We decided to give you some extra juice as always. We got the Wednesday Warrior coming at you, the solo play, special play. And then we also have the Wednesday Parlay Pop-Off. 3-leg, 1 RMag pick, 1 Colt pick, 1 Wednesday Warrior parlayed together for some juicy odds. This one is above 4-1 payout, so I suggest you add it and tune in. Stay locked in for the second segment of today or actually the second and a half segment today for the 2 special plays. Then we got the Moneyline Dice making their usual episodic appearance on the 3rd segment of the day, their whole segment Moneyline Dice, and then that'll pretty much wrap up the betting portion of today's show for the first half. Then we'll get into the second half. We got U.S. Open action coming at you. We got the sticky stuff of baseball, the main controversy happening right now in the big leagues. We got plenty of nonsense, banter, and more to get into for you guys there.
No question.
And then plenty more in between across the entire sports and sports gambling world. So stick around for the second half of the show for those rants and reactions there. And closing things out, as always, I got a message in my motivation minutes on letting your light shine. So I'll let your mind spin on that a little bit before I get into it, but I suggest you stick around to the very end of the show. Now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I know he is just rearing to get these picks out to you folks here today. He showed up at the TTL Production Studios 2 days in the green saying, partner, it is going to be a bad week for the books. And Wednesday, I'm taking care of it once again. Now today, my partner's got you covered on the early slate, and I got you covered on the late slate. So listen up, get out your sports books, get ready to get some knowledge dropped on your heads and some of the best plays on today's slate from Mr. Magnuson. So without further ado, as always, partner, you have the floor.
I appreciate it as always. My partner mentioned I've got 2. They are both coming out of the MLB. First one, as he mentioned, it's going to be the early slate, so this one's right around noon Central Standard Time, a little after that, I think. But we got the Marlins first 5 money line versus the Cardinals once again today. And we are taking Sandy Alcantara versus John Oviedo, both right-handers on the mound today. And Sandy Alcantara, we keep mentioning it. There are so many pitchers in this Marlins rotation that we love, and Sandy Alcantara is one of them. He has a 3.39 ERA. A real solid 108 whip. His K to walk ratio is also very solid. 80 Ks to 24 walks on the season. He has allowed 2 or less earned runs over his last 5 starts, 2 or less, partner. So those are solid numbers lately. Had a little bit of an inconsistent April, early May, but lately he's really picking it up. And he is facing a Cardinals offense that last 10 versus right-handers, not really getting it done. 218 batting average, 296 OBP. So they're struggling against right-handers a little bit right now. And as a matter of fact, they have scored 2 or less runs in 3 of their last 4 games. So they're a little bit stagnant right now on offense. They did get the win over the Marlins yesterday, 2-1. I believe it was a walk-off from Paul Goldschmidt.
Yes, it was.
However, we've got John Oviedo on the mound today for the Cardinals. And things haven't been going great for Mr. Oviedo.
Not at all.
5.72 ERA on the season, 1.52 whip. He has a 25K to an 18 walk ratio. That is not very good. He has only completed 5 innings pitched once this season, and the Cardinals have actually only won once in his 6 starts on the year. And he's facing a Marlins team that versus right-handers lately are actually figuring things out, and that is another reason why I love this play. Marlins last 10 versus righties, 273 batting average, 354 OBP, and a 5.27 runs per 9. If this Marlins team was playing like they were a couple weeks ago, at least on offense, I might be staying away from this. We still ended up picking them in many cases just because we love this pitching rotation so much. But now that this team is hitting right-handers pretty well, it makes it so much easier to rush to the Marlins.
I'm going to pause you one quick second.
Yeah?
Bring your mic up just a little bit. You're talking over it instead of into it.
All right.
There you go.
There we go.
See how loud you got? Bang. Let's rock. Hey, now you're beautiful. Now you can hear you pristine, baby. I was trying to figure it out the whole time, but still listening to you. It was great. You're going. Keep rocking, baby. Let's go.
I was just about done with that one anyways. So, yeah.
I thought you were getting close. That's why I cut in.
As I was saying, though, to really wrap it up and hammer it home, this Marlins offense, if they are hitting at least one side of the, lefties or righties, either one, and you got a starter on the mound that matches that, and you've got one of these pitchers, Alcantara, Rogers, Pablo Lopez in certain spots, I'm going to hammer it home every single day, and we've got some decent odds on this one today. So first play, Marlins, first 5, money line.
Nail, hammer, every single time, my friend. This was actually one of the first ones I wrote down on some of my potential best bets of the day last night when glancing at today's slate. So I was elated when you said it was one of your favorites because I'll promptly be hammering that in with you. As a matter of fact, already have, my friend. So there's your first one. Told these fine folks that you got 2. So you might as well drop down the second.
Alrighty. Second one coming in a little bit later. I believe this one is 1:10 p.m. Central Standard Time, somewhere in there. But we've got, for the third straight day, at least some type of play coming out of this game. I'm taking the Brewers first 5 money line versus the Reds here in Milwaukee. You got Tyler Mahle on the mound for the Reds and Freddie Peralta, righty, for the Brewers. Both these guys right-handers. Peralta has been one of my go-to guys all season long, probably one of my top 5 pitchers to bet on this year, and he has been extremely consistent with a 2.25 ERA. And those numbers aren't, big splits early on, late. They've been pretty consistent all season long. Only one start this season, allowing more than 3 earned runs, and in his last 6 starts, he has allowed 2 earned runs or less, and in 5 of those 6 starts, only one of them is a 2 earned run start. The other ones, 5 of them are 1 earned runs or less.
Okay.
So he has, as you may have remembered, last week we took a very similar matchup. However, it was in Cincinnati with Freddie Peralta, and he pitched very well there, but was pulled due to a rain delay through 4 innings pitched. It was 1-1 Brewers-Reds tie, and then they pull Peralta after that 4th inning, and the rain delay cleared up, and then the Brewers reliever gave up a run, and the Brewers lost that first 5 innings.
2-1.
Yeah, so the Brewers, nonetheless, are 5-1-2 in his last 8 first 5s, and that one loss is the one that I just mentioned, which was not his fault. So, all in all, I am loving this Peralta and Brewers defense to hold these Reds down, because Mahle on the other side of the bill, after a dominant April, holds an ERA over 4 in both May and June. So he's been pretty inconsistent and pretty mediocre the last couple of months. He has allowed 6 earned runs over his last 2 starts. these teams pushed the first 5 yesterday, 1-1. Reds took the full game, 2-1. So I like this Brewers team to put up a handful of runs in the favorable pitching matchup for them. I think this could be the start of a colder stretch for the Reds here. I've been talking about it the last couple days that they've been heating up against lefties, starting to cool down a little bit against righties. But all in all, I think yesterday might be the start of them kind of pulling back the reins and coming back down to earth. So all in all, I think the Brewers find a way to score 3 or 4 runs here in the first 5, partner, and they take this one 3-1, 4-1.
Once again, I've already hammered this one in, my friend. I am right there with you, riding this one nice and heavy. You know, I know Peralta's been your guy all season long, and you know, I can't not back him when you back him, because he really is dominant. We got screwed in the last game. You mentioned it. He got pulled because of the rain delay. Bunch of horse shiitake. So we are definitely banking on him to have just normal form game. He's going to go 5-6. And like you said, Tyler Mahle really hasn't been the Tyler Mahle of old. And I think not only this Reds pitching rotation, but the Reds offense in general start to really pull back the reins and slow down quite a bit here.
Yeah, I'm all over that with you. I can't say anything else on top of that.
All right, my friend. So 1 pick, 2 pick, best bets of the day. Anything else you need to lay down?
I don't think so. I think that's about it.
All right. Well, I appreciate you. I know the kind folks appreciate you, because now they got 2 picks to kick off their day right from jump. So be sure you hammer those in. I hope you listened right now, but if you didn't, stick around a little while later. We will recap, bring you all of the best bets of the day that we have from both me and Mags and the special play. So without further ado, let's get into the second half of the first segment of the day, my best bets of the day. I told you at the top of the show, once again, going to be bringing you 3 best bets today. All of my best bets are coming out of the MLB slate, so that is that. Gonna stay away from, maybe go into the NBA, but it's gonna be off the pod. So great time to actually mention as well, because we might dive into the NHL. In addition, follow both of us and the Talk in the Line page on the Action Network app. I am at cash_with_Colt. He's at RMags in all caps. And then you can follow the whole crew at Talking the Line. Super simple. So just wanted to remind you guys that, because we both did have very, very solid days as well outside of the pod. So I actually went positive and had a very good day outside of the pod. The pod just kind of screwed me. So that is one thing I wanted to mention. But moving right along, ladies and gentlemen, no delay, no hesitation. Time for my best bets of the day. First pick I am taking. Told you I got you covered on the evening slate. So this one is first pitch right around 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. I believe right around 8 o'clock. So pop in those nitroglycerin pills. It's time to rock and roll. First best bet coming from me today. I am taking the Houston Astros full game run line -1.5. Houston took game 1 of this series yesterday, 6-3, and they faced Kyle Gibson. Now, Kyle Gibson, as we all know, has actually been one of the guys that has really been somebody Texas can depend on. Can go deep 5, 6, potentially 7 innings, can limit the earned runs, and Houston had a field day with him. They he actually only gave up 1 run, but they had a bunch of hits on him. And then once they got into the bullpen really let Gibson's efforts down. And I'll actually get into that Texas bullpen here in a little bit. But I wanted to mention that one of the big things for me in this matchup is going to be the pitching matchup. And we have Jordan Lyles on the mound for Texas. Pardon me, 1 second. My headphones are fucking off. Good fucking grief. All right, crying out loud. I'm sounding over here like a goofball because I got my microphone or my headphones cutting in and out. So here we go. Never know what you're going to get at the Talking the Line podcast. Let's restart. So you got Jordan Lyles on the mound for the Rangers and Zach Greinke on the mound for the Astros. Now, Lyles has given up at least 2 earned runs or less in only 3 of his last 10 starts. He has been an earned run machine. He has had 13 starts so far this season with a 2-4 record and a 5.37 ERA. He's got a 294 batting average allowed, 350 OBP, and an 845 OPS, and sporting a pretty rough 1.5 4.52 whip. His starts on the road this season have not been very good at all. He's got a 1-3 record with a 4.50 ERA on the road. And Lyles has actually also faced Houston once already this year. He pitched 6 innings, gave up 7 hits, 2 Ks, 2 walks, and had 4 earned runs. So Houston had their way with him. I like for them to definitely repeat that, if not be even more dominant than just 4 earned runs. Houston versus Lyles in his career is actually pretty solid. They sport a 283 batting average, 302 OBP, and an 833 OPS. Not to mention that the Rangers have lost 4 out of Lyles' last 6 starts, and they have all come by 2 runs or more. I apologize, 3 out of 4 of them have come by 2 runs or more. Now on the opposing bump, Zach Greinke, you know the name. He's been dominant Greinke outside of a few rough outings here or there. He has already faced Texas this year and was pretty daggone dominant. 7 innings pitched with only 7 hits, 5 Ks with only 1 walk, and 3 earned runs. Once again, I like for him to repeat that performance, if not be even more dominant. So I like the Houston Bats to be more dominant and Greinke to be more dominant in this one. 14 starts for Greinke this season, just to prove to you that he has been typical dominant himself. 6-2 record with a 3.68 ERA, 62 Ks with only 17 walks, 289 OBP, and a 691 OPS with a beautiful 1.14 whip. Greinke versus Texas in his career has been incredible. Sports a 192 batting average allowed, only a 221 on base percentage against these Rangers, and a 490 OPS. Houston has won 4 out of the last 6 Greinke starts, and this is not incorrect. All 4 of them have come by 2 runs or more, and actually more on the or more side of things. I did mention the bullpen up at the top. This Texas bullpen has really been letting the Rangers team down across the board, and they did yet again last night. And if by some chance Jordan Lyles has a terrific outing, which I do not see that happening, I see him remaining and continuing to struggle. Once Houston gets into this Texas bullpen, it's all but a wrap. The Rangers bullpen is 23rd in the MLB in bullpen ERA, 4.65, with a 259 batting average, 328 OBP, and a rough 732 OPS. Last but certainly not least, Texas has lost 7 out of their last 10 games overall, and they have all come by 2 runs or more. And Houston has won 7 out of their last 10 games overall, and they have all come by 2 runs or more. Give me all of the Stros here today, my friend. I love for them to remain hot, remain dominant. I love for Lyle to continue to struggle and for Greinke to continue to deal. Give me all of the Stros here on the run line, -1.5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. This is another one that I like because, like you kind of mentioned, there's a handful of different ways that this one can win. You mentioned even if Lyles surprises us and has a solid game, the Astros can jump on that bullpen, and even still, Greinke can. I do expect Greinke to hold them down to only a couple runs max.
Yeah.
He's had some rough outings against some really good offenses, but the Rangers obviously aren't that. So I'm all the way over it with you.
Yeah, and in the first game, the Rangers getting 3 earned runs. He did go 7 innings, so it took 7 innings to get 3 earned runs. I didn't check all the way how many were in the first 5, but either way, it doesn't matter, man. Yeah. I think Greinke goes deep, and we get the 1.5 cover, nice and easy. So there's my first best bet of the day. Second best bet of the day, pop another nitroglycerin pill in, because we're going later on the MLB slate, and I am taking the Giants' first 5 run line -0.5. Now, I liked the money line, but a little too chalky. After looking at a few things that I'm going to share with you guys, I was confident enough to rotate my position to the run line right around -120 odds right now for the -0.5. First thing you might be thinking, though, hey, Colt, Arizona destroyed the Giants in the first 5 innings last night. What the hell are you thinking? This line's a little bit similar, maybe a little bit longer, a little more pricey. Well, what I will tell you is that, yes, they did. You are very correct about that, but there was also 5 separate Giants pitchers in that game, and Sam Long, the young man who started on the mound for the Giants, was only in his second official MLB start, and that's not the case for Anthony DeSclafani, who's going to be on the mound for the Giants today. I mentioned DeSclafani because this pitching matchup, once again, looms extremely large for me. Obviously, DeSclafani on the mound there, but then you got Merrill Kelly on the mound for the Diamondbacks, and Kelly has been getting beat up all season long, and he has only allowed 2 runs or less in only 4 out of his last 10 starts. Once again, another guy that has been an earn run machine. He just gives them up left and right. 13 starts for Kelly this season, a terrible 2-6 record and an abysmal 5.14 ERA, 318 OBP and a 761 OPS, 1.33 WHIP. All of that can tell you enough to stay the heck away from the Diamondbacks and Kelly in this matchup, but I'm also looking at the road starts. 7 road starts for Kelly so far this year. 1-4 record with a 6.13 ERA away from home. I love that trend to continue and for these Giants to absolutely beat up on this man all day long. Now, if the Giants can only get 1, 2 runs, 3 runs on the board for us, I like for DeSclafani to limit this opposing team in the Diamondbacks to at least 0, maybe 1 run at the maximum. Now, if you look, some of his numbers are a bit inflated because he has had 1 or 2 rough outings there. But to be 100% transparent and honest with you, he has been one of my favorite pitchers to back in matchups. If I see him, it's almost 100% go time for me, at least in the first 5 innings. And not to mention that he has been the money man for this Giants team all season long outside of Gozman. So those 2 guys have been really the 2 guys you can back in this Giants rotation. There have been 13 DeSclafani starts for the Giants. He's got a 3.09 ERA, only a 203 batting average allowed with a 259 OBP and a pristine 571 OPS with a 1.02 WHIP. The man has been dealing, and he is not the guy that we saw with the Cincinnati Reds. He has had a career resurgence here in San Francisco, and I love for him to remain dominant. He's got a bit of a bad ERA. 3.09 is not bad, but it should be a lot lower because he had 1 bad outing against the Dodgers where he gave up 10 earned runs. And then outside of that, he's only given up more than 2 earned runs in 3 out of his last 10. So he has played incredibly, incredibly well. He has pitched incredibly well, and especially against these Diamondbacks in his career, only allowing a 106 batting average with a 151 OBP, and only allows the D-backs to have a 358 OPS against him so far. Not to mention, last but certainly not least, first 5 inning runs per game. The Giants rank 11th in the MLB with 2.61 average and a 2.62 average at home, so pretty much the same. Arizona down at the bottom, 22nd in the MLB with 2.26 average first 5 inning runs per game, but a 1.76 average on the road. Now, as far as first 5 inning runs per game allowed goes, the San Francisco Giants are still hot, 3rd in the MLB with a 1.91 average, and Arizona is down at the bottom yet again, 27th in the MLB with a 3.00 average. Now, the home road splits there on first 5 inning runs allowed are pretty doggone close, but I don't think it matters with this pitching matchup. I think that's what really looms heavy here, and I think the Giants, after not being able to muster much runs support last night, I think that they definitely get to it real fast on Kelly here today, and DeSclafani limits any opportunities that the Diamondbacks might have.
Yeah, I'm all over this one with you, my man. You kind of mentioned it, but DeSclafani is your guy. This Giants' first 5s were your team for a while. But then, as you kind of mentioned it with the situation yesterday, they've got a couple guys that have lost their luster, except for DeSclafani and Gozman, so It is go time with either of those guys. So I'm right there with you today.
Yeah, you said it, man. These guys, the Giants, were my team to back in the first 5 innings to kick off the season, and they've kind of cooled off a little bit here. I don't want to say they're bad by any stretch, but yeah, really does, much like the Mets, honestly.
Yep.
It comes down to the pitching matchup and then kind of what you can see from there. So I absolutely love them here on the run line in the first 5 innings, that being the Giants. So there is my second pick of the day, and let's move right along. Third and final best bet of the day. Now, you might be looking at me crazy when I tell you what I'm taking, but I suggest you get your brooms out of the closet because this team's going on a sweep, even though you might think I'm wrong. Third pick, Seattle Mariners money line. It is a plus money Pauly, and you are getting it right about plus 116 right now. However, I am extremely confident in the plus money. This Mariners team beat the Twins last night 10-0, and then on Monday 4-3. On Monday, the Twins didn't score after the 4th inning, so they haven't scored technically in the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 14 innings that they have played. Had to do some quick math with the old hands. I thought I was going to be right, but I didn't want to be wrong. So better safe than sorry. You know the old adage that Mom always used to say. But moving right along, you do have Bailey Ober on the mound for the Twins and Justice Sheffield on the mound for the Mariners. Now, as much as you might not trust Sheffield, I don't trust Ober. Ober is still a rookie. He's only had 3 official starts, only gone 13 innings with 7 earned runs, and that has averaged out to a 4.85 ERA with a 321 batting average, 351 OBP, 936 OPS, and a 146 whip. If you want to put your money behind that starter, go right on ahead, but I'm going to stay real far away from it because not to mention all of that, the Twins are also battling an immense amount of injuries with some of their key players, and basically they're going to have to bank all on Ober to have a huge 7-inning, 0 earned run game, and that is just not going to happen in his 4th official MLB start. Now, I did mention Justice Sheffield, you might not be so high on him. I wasn't at first either. He doesn't have the best top-line numbers, but where he has been really, really good is at home so far this season. He's had 5 starts at home, 27 2/3 innings pitched with a 4-1 record, 3.58 ERA, and a 2.43 OBP. His last 4 home starts, the Mariners are 4-0 straight up. So they have absolutely been playing great behind his arm on the mound when they are on their home diamond. Not to mention that in his last 5 starts, these home starts, he gave up 2, 2, 0, 4, and 3 earned runs respectively. Now that is from most recent to oldest, and the 4 and 3 runs were actually really early on in the season, and those came against the Dodgers and the White Sox, 2 very high-powered offenses that actually hit lefties very well. So this Twins team, my partner alluded to it at the beginning of the week, hey, maybe they're starting to hit lefties a little better. Maybe they're getting back to it. They barely eked out the win in the first 5, or actually was a push. Was it a push?
It was a push.
It was a push, so they couldn't even get it done there. I don't think they're all the way back against lefties, and Sheffield's dominance at home is just too much for me to pass up on right now. Not to mention a few key trends. The M's are 7-2 straight up in the last 9 home games so far this season. The Mariners are also the 4th best team in the MLB against the money line this season. Very, very unknown fact so far. Minnesota, 29th best team in the MLB versus the money line this season. So very, very opposite stories from what you would think of the brand names of these teams. Minnesota is also 26-41 overall this season with a record of 12-20 on the road and 8-11 as a road favorite. Minnesota is 0-4 straight up in their last 4 games overall and last 4 road games versus a team with a losing record. Minnesota is 1-4 straight up in the last 5 meetings between these teams and 1-3 straight up in the last 4 in Seattle. I told you up at the top, but I'll tell you again, break out the brooms. The M's are getting the clean 3-0 series sweep at plus money in every single one of them, and they are too doggone good at home to be facing a rookie starter and not get this sweep. So give me all of the Mariners money line tonight.
I am right there with you, my man. You nailed it. Justice Sheffield at home. I can take all of that action, and I do not trust Bailey Ober as much as you do not trust Bailey Ober. Right. So I'm going to rock on this one with you as well.
Well, hey, I appreciate it, partner. You know, I tell you, I had to do a little convincing of you on that one, but I'm glad to hear you on my side now. So definitely confident. Like I said, pulling the reins back a little bit, only giving you 3 best bets, but taking out any of the, this should hit, or, oh yeah, I think this could be value, and damn straight, this is a hitter. So looks like to me, partner, we got 5 best bets coming at these folks, and we got a 5-0 day coming up on the slate here.
Oh, yeah. No doubts.
Plus money through the roof. We might have a double-digit unit day, all right? So without further ado, you got RMags' best bets. You got my best bets. We'll be sure to recap every single one of them for you here shortly. But let's get into today's special play of the day, and that is the Wednesday Warrior special play. Sorry, had just a little bit of a delay there. Don't know what happened. Went from Warrior to Colts bets to Warrior. So we're back at Warrior now. We are here. We are live. We are in prime time. Now, I kicked it around a little bit. I thought I could tell you guys all the stats and convince you just because, I don't like this team all that much. But if I tell you they're really good, they must be really good because I don't like them and I'm betting them anyway. But I decided to concede all of those thoughts and shift the attention over to my Homer partner and let him tell you even the deep, dirty, nitty-gritty things that I myself can't even find because of how deep his fandom runs. So without further ado, partner, drop the Wednesday Warrior down on these folks.
Well, if you couldn't tell, we are taking the White Sox first 5 money line today. I don't know if I really need to get into the nitty-gritty because I think all I need to say, I'll throw some stuff down, but all you really need to say is White Sox first 5 alone, wagon. White Sox versus lefties, wagon. You've got Ryan Yarbrough, lefty, on the mound for the Rays, and Mr. Lucas Giolito on the mound for the White Sox. And as I mentioned, White Sox versus lefties, still a wagon despite these injuries. Got the job done yesterday in the first 5 and the full game. I believe it was 3-0. I know the full game was 3-0. I believe it was either 2 or 3 through the first 5. And I think it's going to be very, very similar today. This White Sox pitching staff is getting the job done. Giolito's surface numbers, both these guys' surface numbers are pretty similar. Giolito is so much better than his surface numbers, and he's starting to turn the wheels and get back to the guy that we know and saw last year that was the undisputed number 1 pitcher in this rotation last year, because he really hasn't been the number 1 pitcher, and It's not really his fault. Lance Lynn and Carlos Rodon have sub-2 ERAs. But I digress. Lucas Giolito is going to have, I'm not even going to say a bounce back because he's been solid lately. Right. He hasn't been lights out lately, but I think he might be lights out tonight. And this White Sox team last 5 versus lefties. I mentioned they were starting to cool down a tiny bit versus lefties. They've got a batting average well over 300 last 5 games versus lefties. So I've got no issues today taking them in that first 5 innings once again.
No, I don't either. Happened to be scrolling the Twitter sphere this morning and saw one of our good friends, Megan Making Money, was on the Tampa Bay Rays first 5 money line. Generally, when we show down, one of us gets the deal done. Like it obviously that's how it is. That's how it but I don't know where I was trying to go with that.
I think you were trying to say that we usually take it when it's a showdown.
But I don't because I was trying to think. I didn't want to make up a fib. We're live here in person. I didn't want to make up a lie.
Somebody wins.
Yeah, no shit there, Sherlock Holmes. So I hope you're getting as good of a laugh as this jagbag over here. But
no, I can add. I actually thought you were going a different direction because one of our good friends that we know personally, JP, asked us who is going to hit a home run for the Sox today. So I dove deep into it a little bit. Not a huge sample size the Sox do versus Ryan Yarbrough, but Tim Anderson is 1 for 2. He's got 3 straight multi-hits over the last 3 days. No home runs hit for him. So I think he is due to put one out of the park, and that might be the difference here because I think it's going to be low scoring. I think, like I said, I think it could be around that 3-0, 3-1, whether it's first 5 or the full game, 4-2, that type of thing. So,
sure.
Nonetheless, give us the White Sox first 5 money line.
Yeah, I got nothing to add whatsoever. You hit everything. The one thing I could say is, Giolito hasn't been as dominant as he could be, but he really hasn't been bad. He's just been overshadowed by a lot of the other better arms in this rotation, and that's not even to his fault at all. So I think he has a great day against this Tampa Bay Rays team. I think the public will run to them because they're at plus money, but I think the line is just right, and you're getting the exact price you should on this first 5. So Wednesday Warrior special play of the day, Chicago White Sox first 5 money line. Now we might as well just move right along into the second of today's special plays, the Wednesday Parlay Pop-Off, and not a whole lot of explanation, not a whole lot of anything really needs to go into it, because we've already given you all of the analysis behind the plays. Now we just got to build to some bits. Yep. So first leg, we are taking the Wednesday Warrior, Chicago White Sox, first 5, money line. Second leg, we are taking my pick, the Giants, first 5, run line, -0.5. And then the last leg, we are taking Mag's pick, the Miami Marlins, first 5, money line. Parlay those 3 bad boys up. You're going to get right around plus 488 odds, I do believe. Real juicy. I hammered that bad boy in right before we hit the start streaming button. So that baby is already in my bet slip.
Yep.
So
450.
450. Okay. So I knew it was right in that ballpark. 444. I knew it was somewhere in there. Either way.
I didn't even hear what you said. Sorry.
Either way, you got it. Well, hey, what do you know? Doesn't surprise me, even though you got headphones with my voice going right into your ears. But hey, no big deal. Moving right along. Hey, we're just getting jabs all over the place here today. All right, moving along. You got them all. You got the special plays, the best bets. Let's just go right on ahead and recap all these doggone things for you. Here we go. Today's best bets of the day. Oh, hey, we're down here. We're not up there. We're down here. Hi, how's it going? You thought we were going to be up there, but not anymore. Mr. Riley White.
I like how this looked, but I didn't realize that this makes my job as
a little difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the Wednesday Warrior right here, and that's
hey,
about it.
No problem. You can still do your job and just do a little extra stretch. All right, so without further ado, today's best bets, favorite picks, and parlay special plays of the day. Here we go. Left side of your screen, top of it, you got RMags picks, 2 best bets coming at you. The Marlins first 5 money line and the Milwaukee Brewers first 5 money line. Myself, I got 3 coming at you on the right top side of your screen. San Francisco Giants first 5 run line -0.5. The Houston Astros full game run line -1.5, and the Seattle Mariners money line. For today's first special play, right next to Riley White, we have the Wednesday Warrior, the Chicago White Sox first 5 money line, and then we combine a few plays for the second special play of every single Wednesday, the Wednesday Parlay Pop-Off, and today's 3-legger is the Chicago White Sox first 5 money line, Wednesday Warrior, the Miami Marlins first 5 money line, and the San Francisco Giants first 5 run line. You heard it before, but parlay those up. You're going to get over 4-1 odds on that payout, and we are going to run that bad boy to the window for the second and third special play cashes of this week. You know the deal by now, but might as well say it to you just so you remember. Lock them in, hammer them home, sprinkle a little bit of dough down. Whatever you like to say, just make sure you get the TTL Crew's best bets of the day in at whatever the current best line is on your favorite sports book. There you have it, my friends. The best bets from the crew of today. Let's wrap up the first half of today's show with today's Moneyline Dice roll, my friend. We have today, you can see on your screen right up over yonder, the Los Angeles Angels versus the Oakland Athletics. A little bit of differing opinions across the board between handicappers right now, what kind of value you're getting. So let's get into today's Moneyline Dice roll of the day.
Let's do it.
Seems to be that I got a pretty good workflow going here, pal. So let me wildcard dice. I had to check it just to make sure, like it wasn't home money line on every single side here.
Yeah, because they doubled down. Has it always been home money line too?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm telling you, man. I don't know. They're just they are confident in the dice we trust. In the dice we trust. All right, home away ATS money line wild card. Nice, lovely travel bag. I'll actually leave that out here for once I get this set up. All right, so I'm going to set up the picture-in-picture real quick, and while I do that, could you be a doll, Mr. Magnuson, and give us some of the lines here, some of the storyline, what we got happening?
All right, so this is actually an afternoon one. Typically, this is a late game, but we've got 2:37 Central Standard Time. The Angels versus the A's. Griffin Canning on the mound, righty for the Angels. He's got a 5-4 record, 5.22 ERA. pretty inconsistent, that guy. One of the reasons why we're staying away from this one, because he is very unpredictable, and it is lefty Cole Irving on the mound for the A's. 4-7 record, but a 3.7 ERA. He's actually been pretty decent lately, but still a little bit consistent. Angels coming in as the dog, plus 106. A's minus 120. Over under is set at 9 right now. That's a little bit of an interesting line there. Angels plus 1.5 is minus 184. And the A's coming in at plus 160, minus 1.5. I need to get my glasses fixed because I had to pull that closer to my face. The bet percentage. Interesting bet splits on this one today. Some big money, big sharp money coming in on the Angels. 73% of the bets on the A's. So as far as tickets locked in, not the money, 73% on the A's. The actual money, 63% on the Angels. So public is all over the A's, while the big money is all over the Angels on that plus money. And that money line opened up at minus 135 for the A's, and as I mentioned, all the way down to minus 120. So we're gonna see if the Angel or the Dice is gonna be back in that sharp money. Are they saying fuck you to the sharp money? I don't buy it. Or what are we gonna have here? Are we gonna have a double down again?
I don't know, man, but that Moneyline Dice is...
Because, I mean, I think they're like 2 and 2
that
on
travel
these double
bag
downs.
is looking just absolutely
there we go.
gorgeous on the screen. And, hey, I'm getting better as your IT professional over here yonder around the TTL production
We didn't
studios.
go to school for it, but
we
you
didn't
could
go
be a
to school
professor
for it, but
Hey,
we're
how about
figuring it
that?
out. But you see on your screen now, go ahead, Mr. Magnuson, behind the scenes, everything, but you see on your screen now the Moneyline Dice. Wanted to be able to kind of point to it and shit, since I am the one rolling and talking instead of having it blocking me out. So the Moneyline Dice, if you want to get your own Moneyline Dice before we get into today's roll and get one of these amazing traveling cases or any of the other dope-ass merchandise that they have there. I mean, super affordable, and we actually have a discount code for you as well. So go over to moneylinedice.com, pick out whatever you want, high, low, left, right, whatever shelf you find the items on. Get them in the cart and enter code TTL10 at checkout. We actually made it super simple for you in case you missed any of that or don't remember any of it. You want your own Moneyline Dice? Head to this episode's description. Second link you're going to see, moneylinedice.com. Code TTL10 is right next to it. Hit it, enter it, get your own set. Super simple. Start rolling with the crew. Stop racking your brain from time to time. If you can't figure out the lines, just roll the doggone dice, huh? So there you go. Get your own set. So I will take this off of the screen. And without further ado, my favorite time of the day, ladies and gentlemen. So my partner has laid the scene, if you will, for today's Moneyline Dice roll of the day. Now we will find out, as always, the first roll. Are we taking the away team, Los Angeles Angels, or the home team, Oakland Athletics, potentially to be Las Vegas Athletics? In 3, in 2, in 1.
The home team, once again.
A's. All right, I'll move this back
as
for
you mentioned,
partner.
I'll show the people that this is not only a home-sided dice.
Yes.
We do actually have some A's.
There are A's on there as well. These are not loaded dice. The dice are, hey, they're speaking. They're telling you what's the deal. I mean, hey, home money line is the hot play right now. But we'll see, as always. For the second roll, are we taking the home money line once again for the Oakland Athletics, or are we going to have to get a little juicy and take that minus 1.5? We will all soon find out in 3, in 2, in 1.
That is ATS. Let me pull that back here.
ATS, there you are, my partner. I can help you out even more. That way you're nice and centered there.
So we're switching it up a little bit, getting juicy.
Getting juicy. So there is the unofficial pick. You know the deal. Wild card die. It is here. It is live. It is ready to roll. Are we for the 5th day in a row doubling down on the unofficial selection? Are we going to have to re-roll it all? Or are we skipping it all and just going right to the doggone total? We will all find out in 3, in 2. In 1.
Home money line.
Home money line?
Oh my goodness. Yes, it is.
It is the home money line. So And what did we say if it was the home team but the opposite? Just a half unit on each.
Yeah, half unit on each.
Half unit on each. All right. That I do remember those being the rules. So, if you want to guarantee take a ticket to the window tonight, the dice have spoken! It is the Oakland Athletics -1.5 and the Oakland Athletics money line. They are both so valuable. The dice is telling us and you to hammer them both in. So without further ado, one more time. Today's Moneyline Dice roll of the day. You see it on your screen now for the third official time. The home team ATS, Oakland Athletics -1.5, and their money line, Oakland Athletics. Money line, ATS. Lock it in. Let's run it to the pay window.
It's tough to show how translucent they are without showing the entire studio, but that's a decent shot right there.
But it is pretty sweet. Yeah, you can
see that
kind of
bottom
see how it...
We'll see when you do that, then it goes away.
Yeah, I don't know if it... Yeah, because my hand kind of blocks it. I don't know if anything, but yeah, you can see the bottom half, which is pretty doggone sweet.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking sweet.
So yeah, the great freaking products. I will steal that from you, partner. Can
pop that off there.
Close that all out. Oh, don't wanna mute the microphones. Whoopsie daisy. All right. See, I told you I did not go to school for this shit. But there we are. There we go. Actually, let me before we finish that all up, let me just make sure that we don't have any outstanding issues going on here, pal. X out. X out.
We are looking
good. All right. Hey, record time. We got about just a little over a half hour to get into the second half of the show. Just about perfect timing, as always. So let's quickly, as always, say a farewell to the dice.
Thank you, Dice.
We appreciate you. We love your picks. And in you we trust. Sleep well. Let's cash some doggone tickets tonight. We'll see you on tomorrow's show. All right, quick little sip here. Whew. Oh, yeah. That's some high-quality H2O there, ladies and gentlemen. Or is it vodka? You might find out in 15 minutes if I start swearing my words. But moving right along to the second half of today's show. But before we do, I almost forgot. If you're one of the kind gambling folks that just stops by the Talking the Line podcast for the first half of our show for all of our best bets, special plays, and analysis, everything in between, and you're about to head on out of here, we hope you have a spectacular rest of your Wednesday, unless you got any other plans worked in there, but we hope you don't. We can't wait to cash some tickets with you tonight, and hopefully one of these days you'll stick around for the second half of the show. But if not, no big deal. We appreciate you at least coming around for the first. Hope you have a great day, but don't stay away for too long now, all right? We got another show coming up tomorrow, and you know the deal. We need your help bankrupting these books one play at a time. So peace and love to you guys, but to you TTL faithful that stick around for the second half. It is now time for the second half of the show. One of my favorite parts of the show, because we get to get a little bit wild, drop it down into first gear, kick it on back a little bit, and talk some shit. So it is now time for the second half of the show. Let it on down, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to relax for today's Rants and Reactions. Here we go. All right. First things first, as always. Partner, you're looking great over there. How you feeling? How you doing? How you moving? How you grooving?
I'm feeling very good. We've got a little bit of some breaking news as the show's going on that we will wait to get into. A little NBA news here, but
yeah.
It's things are rolling along here.
Things are rolling along here for sure. But wanted to bring you guys a little treat today to kick off today's Rants and Reactions. Something we don't typically do. Bring you a little extra value, maybe some extra bets, if you will. Told you on yesterday's show we might be getting into this, and we for sure are, so I'm ripping out my sports book right now, and it's time to get into the U.S. Open. Hey, we got a great weekend of golf coming up ahead of us right now, my friends. Actually, just starting tomorrow through Sunday. So here we go. Going to just do a little bit of live look ahead right here with you guys. I've noticed my partner always got a few picks he likes and has looked out. I haven't dove completely deep into it. Wanted to make sure I brought the best value on my other picks for you guys today, but I'm going to bring you some value here as well. So, partner, I'll let you kick things off. What you got, what you seeing, who you feeling, where you lying, where you're hard at, all the above.
I've got a couple things I'm liking here.
All right.
So I am going to stay away from this guy, but the favorite in this tournament is actually John Rahm, plus 1,000. Next closest is plus 1,400. Bryson and Dustin Johnson. At least I'm looking on DraftKings right now. I was looking on FanDuel earlier. If you have both of them, it's interesting to look at both those books because the person who I like to win had better odds on FanDuel and worse odds on DraftKings, while I have another top 10 pick who has better odds on DraftKings and worse odds on FanDuel. But the guy that I like to win, partner, is going to be Mr. Xander Schauffele.
Okay.
On FanDuel, he is plus 1,800. DraftKings, he is plus 1,400. Don't know why the big split there. But this is a guy who, he grew up playing at Torrey Pines. De facto home course, you might say.
Really?
And matter of fact, now, I don't know if any of these are at Torrey Pines, and I know the U.S. Open bounces around, but 4 straight top 6 finishes in his last 4 U.S. Opens.
Okay.
So he's very typically, not just the U.S. Open, some other majors as well. He's typically right around there. So I think this is the weekend to get over the hump at a course that he is all too familiar with.
So this is the one for Schauffele, huh?
That's
coming in
winner.
at plus 1,800 odds right now on FanDuel Sportsbook.
Yep. I don't know why he's at 1,400 on DraftKings, so I'm obviously not going to go on DraftKings for that one.
But still very, very interesting there, my friend.
And I've got another one. Don't have too much to back it up, honestly. We aren't, we're casuals with golf. We get into the majors, but we did do pretty well for the Masters last time around. Anyways, my other pick is going to be Colin Morikawa, top 10 finish. That one was the one I mentioned on FanDuel. He's actually plus 200. On DraftKings, it's plus 250. So a decently nice boost there for DraftKings. But I like Morikawa. He is typically right up there and sometimes gets it done on some of these non-major tournaments. But for a U.S. Open, I like him to sneak into that top 10 and give you some nice plus money there.
I even might like him at top 5.
Okay.
What were you getting at top 10? The odds?
So on FanDuel it was plus 200. On DraftKings it was 250.
So you're getting a little more juice, but not even bad. Plus 410 to top 5.
Yeah.
And Morikawa shows up for these bigger events, some of these major events. I don't know what it is,
right.
But he shows up. He's got the clutch gene. And I mean, damn, top 5. I could even potentially see locking a little something like that in. DJ has really fallen off. I don't know what it is.
So he had a nice tournament last week, but it was the first 2 days of the tournament, and then he kind of was stagnant the rest of the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So I'm biased because he's my favorite golfer to watch.
Same.
So
I play with him.
I was going to say I'm biased on that one. So I do like him to have a. I mean, you're getting plus money on him for a top 5 or top 10 finish, so I might lock in a top 10 finish for him, honestly.
Yeah.
Because as you mentioned, he's not getting the job done, but he is kind of lurking around that top 10, it seems like. Another guy that shows up in majors, he did, what was the tournament I'm blanking on, but Brooks Koepka is one of the favorites, fifth best odds here on DraftKings, plus 1,800. He always shows up for majors. Presumably healthier and healthier as we go along here.
I was actually going to say that Brooks would be one of my favorites for top 10 at the very least. Justin Thomas, I also like top 10. He's been stringing together some good plays. Hey, there you go with another spam call.
I was just going to say.
I don't mind Tony Finau. Finau always shows up for these ones, but as we know, can't ever get over that hump. So maybe he plays star-studded at Torrey Pines Thursday through Saturday, and then all of a sudden on Sunday loses it as usual. But actually, let me look at top 5 as well, because Finau might not even be out of the question. Plus 490 for top 5, so not really even out of the question. I mean, you're getting that juice because he does struggle and he at the very end, and he gives it up. So I honestly kind of like that price for a top 5 finish for Tony Finau. Xander Schauffele, I gotta say, I'm right there with you too. I had saw that he grew up at Torrey Pines. I didn't know how in depth it was or how much he did actually play it.
Yeah, I don't know that either. I was reading that it's I don't know if they literally call it his home course, but it's de facto home course. And the other, like I mentioned, the other part of it, 4 straight top 6 finishes in U.S. Opens. So
yeah,
I think he's due. Another guy that's interesting, he's been a little colder, so his odds are way down. Justin Thomas at plus 2,200. So if you're looking at a bounce back for him, solid odds, top 5 and top 10, plus 450 I'm seeing over here for top 5 for him.
All right, not too shabby at all. Yeah, I don't really have any big picks outside of that. I might actually drop some later. I'm just talking about for myself. I was gonna segue back to you, so just hold on
Sorry, go ahead.
Hold on to the reins. I know you got more coming down. I will probably toss 1 or 2 out, maybe tomorrow morning, or tomorrow or tonight. I'm gonna do a little bit of extra research, a little bit of looking because I still got some extra time. But we wanted to at least get some early things we're looking out for you guys, and just kind of let you know, hey, we're looking. But as you can tell, my partner is rearing to go with more picks, so lay it down.
All I was going to say is we didn't even consider it, but how about a major repeat for Mr. Phil Mickelson, plus 4,500?
Really?
Now, I don't know if I'm going to be locking that in, but how fucking wild would that be?
Well, also, too, DeChambeau's the defending champion. Right.
Yes. Yep. Plus 1,400. For
okay.
him, yep.
Okay. Yeah. I actually see him struggling, man. Like I don't think Torrey Pines is built for him.
He's been pretty cold.
Yeah, he's been cold. He's been cold across the board, and I think especially with this whole A-Rod and him and TB and Phil.
Ever since that, I can't remember what course it was, but ever since that monster drive that made headlines that he cleared and he
over the water
fist pumps. Ever since then, he's honestly he might have won that tournament or was up there, but ever since that tournament,
he won that tournament.
Did he? Okay. Ever since then, he's been pretty cold. So.
Yeah, he has been, and there's no denying that whatsoever. So keep on the lookout. Maybe I will, maybe Mags will have some more picks, some more analysis we might do. We'll put it out on Twitter, as we always do, if we find anything extra. So there you go. There you have it. U.S. Open coming live tomorrow. I do believe first tee time's right around 7:30, as always, a.m.
Right.
Central Standard Time. There you go. There you have it. Finally, moving right along, have some NFL news we can talk about here. First things first, there has been a overwhelming, I guess I can say, amount of tweets about players having terrible days in OTA, most namely Tua Tagovailoa.
Most recently, at least. Yeah.
Yes, most recently, Tua Tagovailoa yesterday threw 5 interceptions in training camp, in practice. Gets me thinking, like, we got the cobweb still shaking off? What are we doing here? Is it just because there's so many eyes and cameras and reporters and media sources nowadays? I don't know. But I'll pose this question to you, Mags. Should we care about players having piss-poor performance in mandatory OTAs?
I don't think we should overreact to one day. 5 interceptions is bad. That's not a good look. I don't care what.
That's terrible.
That's a bad spin, but
that is awful.
I don't think we should overreact on one single day. Now, if he has a full week where it's ugly, then maybe we can talk. But I'm not really a guy that likes to overreact to June practices.
No,
unless it's pretty sustained and maybe it's someone that's already been terrible in the past and is obviously continuing to be terrible. But a situation like that, and I can't remember if we talked about it on the pod, but Trevor Lawrence had his first day or so had a bad, rough day or something like that. 2
interceptions, yeah.
Yeah, so especially these young guys, I don't think we should be overreacting. We gotta, like you said, get the cobwebs off. Give me at least a couple weeks before we start overreacting here, because even some preseason action, guys will have some rough preseasons, and then week 1 actual NFL season they turn it on. So I'm not gonna overreact to this stuff quite yet.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I mean, it's fun to talk about, fun to look at, fun to see.
We all miss that NFL.
Geez, yeah. We all want to talk about it. We all want to overreact to it, but I don't think it's overreaction worthy. I mean, it's fun to talk about it. Oh my gosh, Tua just threw 1,500 interceptions yesterday. What the hell? But honestly, not a big deal.
And I mean, the one guy, and it's obviously in sore subject for me, but the one guy that's getting overanalyzed is Jordan Love for the Packers minicamp. I remember, I can't remember if it was last week or the week before, he had a day that was bad and everyone was roasting him. Then the next day, everyone's like, oh my God, he looked amazing. And then it's kind of just been ho-hum after that. So it's like, let's pull it back a little bit. It's June. they're barely going full speed. So let's take a break here, at least on these overreactions.
I would definitely agree with you, partner. But some other NFL news, huh?
Let's do it.
Got Derek Carr talks all over the offseason, have been for the last few years. Maybe he gets the boot. Maybe he goes somewhere else. Maybe he doesn't hang around Las Vegas anymore. Well, he has now said, quote unquote, I will quit the NFL if I have to ever leave the Las Vegas Raiders. How much do we buy into this, Mags? And do you think he really would leave the league?
I honestly don't know, man. I'm not even sure how old he is. Is he north of 30 yet? I honestly don't know. He's somewhere right around there.
Getting close.
Because, I mean, yeah, do I think he gets a bad rep? Yes. Do I think he's a top 5, top 10 quarterback? Not really, no. But
building on that point.
Yeah, because sorry, go ahead.
Shout out Mina Kimes. She basically said that in a lot more detail, but other stuff, that all of Las Vegas's issues are not Derek Carr and the offense's problem. It is John Gruden and the defensive problem, because since 2018, per Mina Kimes, when John Gruden became head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, the Raiders are 32nd in the NFL, dead ass last in points per game. They are 32nd in expected points allowed, dead ass last, and dead ass last 32nd in efficiency. So that's pretty alarming for this Las Vegas Raiders core, because they shipped out Mariota, no? Or they kept him? They kept him on board. If you got extra thoughts on that, I'll actually confirm that. But
yeah, no, I mean, like you said, that's not going to win you a lot of games, and usually that's always a bad look for the quarterback, because when the game, when you're not winning games, it doesn't matter if you're mediocre, if you're playing good. If you're not winning games, people are going to look at the quarterback, and when you lay down those numbers, it definitely makes me pull back the reins on Derek Carr. Like I said, if that defense was good, they do have Marcus Mariota there, huh? and Nathan Peterman. Is that what? Yeah,
that's what I'm laughing at. Oh, Nathan Peterman. Oh boy, shades of the good old Bill days.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that offense, it hasn't been bad. Like I was kind of saying, is Derek Carr a top 10 quarterback? No. But is he serviceable, and can he get the job done in many cases? Yeah, I think he can. Because, I mean, we obviously watch as many teams as we possibly can, but they've had, I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 games with the Packers that I obviously watched real closely, where that offense kept them in the game the first half, and then the Packers offense absolutely, they saw something at halftime on the defense and absolutely exploited it, and there was no turning back from there, and nothing that the offense could do. Because kind of the point I'm getting at, that's not an offense that can get into a shootout, and Derek Carr's not a quarterback that can get into a shootout and win those games, so you really need at least the middle of the pack defense for them to have any type of success.
That's what I was going to say as well. A playoff team? No, I don't think so by any stretch of the word at all. They haven't really done a whole lot to help Derek Carr or anything like that. Now, I mean, they do have a very, very valuable fantasy lineup, though. We're talking Henry Ruggs III, but that's not even really the tip of the iceberg. I'm not even sure who they have in the rest of that core, but then you're forgetting Waller the baller, baby. Yeah. Darren Waller tight end. And then you got the running backs. I mean, Josh Jacobs, I think that they start working him a lot more out of that receiving role. I don't know why they limited it to very minimum last year, towards the end of the year, I guess. Huge Josh Jacobs guy, and definitely always high on him on fantasy, but he was a little bit weird to get last year in fantasy. So, I mean, that team is definitely worth taking a look at for some aspects, albeit fantasy, or maybe if they're on a huge underdog or something like that. But, man, I don't see him making any type of run or doing anything crazy this year. With those ratings, I don't see him doing anything.
Right. Well, to put it into perspective, forget about Justin Fields. If the Bears didn't get Justin Fields and we're going into week 1 with Andy Dalton, you would have been a hell of a lot more, optimistic on the season going into the season with Derek Carr as opposed to Andy Dalton. No?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, not to say that you'd be a Super Bowl contender by any means. That's not what I'm saying.
But while we're on that, per Nagy,
yeah.
Andy Dalton is still the fucking Bears QB1, and I hey, from me to you, Nags, to hell with all of these plans. Put Fields in the damn QB1 slot. Stop fucking with the QB depth chart. Stop fucking with the heads of every Chicago Bears fan out there and just cut the horse shit. We all know what's going to happen. Of course, you wouldn't have said it if it wasn't going to happen. There's a lot that can happen between now and week 1. No shit. I.e. being Justin Fields becomes the QB1. Stop playing the games, man. You wouldn't have said that he is the best, or he is everything we expected and more, like a fairy tale in OTAs. Don't give me that nonsense. You're just trying to keep it under wraps, not get everybody too excited. Stop it. We need all the excitement we can get. I am not trying to go 7-8 this year, 9-7.
You gotta add
10-7.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting there's 17 weeks.
7-8 was like 15 games anyways. So
yeah, I know. I was
yeah. Either way, though, I get what you're saying. Though I get what you're saying.
And I tell you, my fucking live math is ridiculous.
1, 2, 3.
Ridiculous, dude. Like it is. I'm actually really good at math, and when I go live on the show, I cannot fucking do it. I kid you not. Like, man, I will take anything, and I ain't got to rip out a calculator. But yikes, that has been pretty rough here. Okay, there you go. NFL nonsense, NFL news. Had it in the description if you read the description, but let's actually get into it. The MLB, the sticky stuff controversy rages on. Wow, we got more stuff coming out now. I told you yesterday that this rabbit hole is far from the bottom, and we just got another update. Tyler Glass now, we told you yesterday, hitting the IL. Not looking good for him at all. Potentially going to have Tommy John surgery. Actually, we may not have hit on that pretty deep because it didn't come out all of that stuff till a little while after the show. Right. So if you didn't know, Tyler Glass now not looking good for him. They're going to try and rehab it to get him back by the playoffs, but he's got a torn UCL and something else as well. A different ligament. I can't think of what it was. Either way, not good at all. Had an interview yesterday and basically explained it from the point of view of a pitcher. He basically said, like, hey, I've been holding a baseball the same way for my entire life. Like my two-seamer, my curveball, everything.
And his wasn't even sticky tack. He said it was sunscreen.
No, his was sunscreen, right?
Yeah.
His was just sunscreen.
I think it was sunscreen and rosin, he said.
So, well, let me further my point. So he was talking about it, and he said, I use sunscreen, and all we care to have is sunscreen and rosin. Mm-hmm. So he is a fan of the sunscreen because it gives him enough feel on the baseball, because what he said now is that he had to jam the ball so far deep into his grip that he had to squeeze even harder, and now he's 6'7" and throws 102 miles an hour. Obviously, that doesn't help, but he's changing the way he completely throws the ball, completely gripping it, and you think about that, a totally different grip, and then you're releasing that, letting that go. I mean, I just felt that in my elbow, and I didn't even do anything. Right. Like, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. And yet again, I think the rabbit hole's far from the bottom.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, like you said, you talked about his muscle. He even said it, like, I was digging it so deep, and now I'm using muscles that I was sore the next day, muscles that I've never felt sore in my entire life. And, on the surface, someone might be like, oh, just excuses. But when he explains it, you're like, God damn, okay. Yeah, right. You're right. I can't disagree with you there.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. And especially if he's like, man, I've never used Spider Tack. I've never used the Pelican Grip. Like, that is one thing all in and of itself, and I disagree with that.
He said he's got monster hands, so he doesn't need that.
Yeah, he's like, I don't need that shit. And, like, I don't need extra spin. He's like, that's right. He's like, I went cold turkey without anything. No sunscreen, no rosin, no pine tar, whatever. No nothing. He didn't do anything, and he struck out 12 batters against one of the, I can't remember who.
I think it was Nationals.
Nationals, yeah. So a decent offense. Not great, but a decent offense for crying out loud. So, I mean, this is, we're going to have more stuff coming out. But, and then you got your boy, Carlos Rodon, however you want to say it, calling out Rob Manfred and basically telling him you are ruining the league.
We're gonna have more of that. Yeah, he basically came out and said, like, if we want to set this precedent, whatever, but you're giving these guys 10-game suspensions when you gave the Astros absolutely 0 for blatantly cheating in playoff games and winning a World Series.
Right.
And that was about all the soundbite was, but it was like this is not good. This is not not a good precedent to set when you're suspending guys. There has to be a clear precedent as far as the scale of the scandal. That's not even the right word for it. The controversy, that might even be too aggressive of a word, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And it's something that is, I would say, a scandal controversy with the Astros got absolutely zero, and that is flat out bullshit in my opinion. So
yeah, I 150% agree with you, man. As would probably 100% of MLB fans outside of the Astros. We've seen it. It started to cool down now, but beginning of the season, man, I mean, there were inflatable trash cans flying all around Minute Maid Park. There were fans every other park beating on trash cans, pulling them out of the concession areas, bringing them into the stands and beating on them. I mean, the fans have been giving the Stros hell for this because a lot of people are very, very unhappy with that. And the fact that all of a sudden the MLB is just like, yep, we got to do something. Everybody's getting banned. We're going to start doing this. And they couldn't even answer any questions about the Astros. I mean, that just makes absolutely zero sense. And yet again, I say, man, I think there is going to be some more shit coming out, some serious shit coming out. I think we will probably see a few bans. I think some guys are going to be trying to give the big middle finger to Rob Manfred, and yeah, I think this is going to get hairy, and I think the second half of the MLB season is going to be fucking wild.
Yeah, so did you see the Trevor Bauer instance?
No.
It was funny. So it was a little bit different from these other two guys. It was more of a, basically, fuck you. It was an on-field interview. I can't remember if he started yesterday. I don't think he did, actually, but they were interviewing him. I didn't see the full interview, but they asked him kind of point blank, like, what's your thoughts? And then they cut to him, and he's going like this, and he's got a pile of sticky tack with the ball. He's got his hand like this, and the ball just sticking straight to it. And he's just... And that's it.
And that was the whole
that was the whole clip that I saw. They cut off the interview from there, but basically it was just him with the baseball stuck to his hand like that. So
that's hilarious. Actually, Dom, who runs Morale Supply Co. For the Cubs, he did a little something like that. He had like the spider tack, and then he had a baseball stuck to his hand too. I can't remember what he said, but yeah. It's going to get wild. It's going to get weird. Things are going to start popping off. Things are going to start happening. I promise you guys that. And we will be sure to continue to cover the latest of it in every single rant and reaction. So keep sticking around for that. We'll be sure to cover it. Moving right along. NBA action coming at you tonight. We got 2 games on the slate. Atlanta going back to Philly, and the Clippers going back to Utah. Now, you might have been looking at the lines last night thinking, okay, ±3. This will be an interesting game for the Jazz and the Clippers. And then you woke up this morning, you said, -7.5. What in the fuck is that? Well, yeah, it's officially been stated. Kawhi Leonard is out for tonight's game. Apparently, fourth quarter of game 5 or game 4. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's tied 2-2.
It sounds like he's in danger of missing a little, maybe the entire rest of the playoffs, the rest of the series at least. And it's just a bummer, man, because now you have to imagine that the Jazz are going to walk through the next couple of games if he's out, because he was starting to get to that next level that we saw a couple years ago, and starting to get my opinions that he might lead them to the championship, and who knows after that. But that's obviously not the case. And we were looking, kind of like you mentioned, we were looking at lines this morning, and while we were looking at it when we started, it was still -+3, and then I looked back again a half hour later, and one of them said +7. And so what the?
He said, "Is this right? That can't be right."
Can't be right.
He's like,
hell?
"Look on FanDuel real quick," and I did, and I pulled it up. I was like, "Oh, hey, it is at 7 right now." And then he was like, "What in the fuck?" And no more. He got that out of his mouth. I said, "Oh, it's up to 7.5." I said, "Man, something's got to be up. Something's happening that these books know." He's like, "Nah, nothing's going on. Nothing's going on."
I didn't say any of that. I was agreeing.
Well, I guess yeah, maybe whatever. But we weren't like officially sold on it. I was like, dude, dude, something is going on. And then no more than I said that maybe 2 or 3 times, he goes, "Kawhi's expected to be out." And I was like, "Oh shit!" So we'll see what happens. I don't know.
Jazz and 6. That's what I'm saying.
Apparently, the books are really, really. You think Kawhi is that much of a need for Clips?
He was like Terminator mode the last couple of games, man. Especially after that dunk. I thought it was about to be Clippers in 6, if I'm being totally honest. So yes, I do think plus I'm not touching that game tonight with a 10-foot pole +/7. I have no idea what's going to happen now.
No,
because
I don't either.
Paul George is going to have to be MVP, which who knows?
Yeah, who knows? And I kind of want to take the Hawks again. at the plus 6.5. That seems just a little bit too big for me. And we talked about it yesterday. You said it, partner. This whole series now is going to come down to how healthy is Joel Embiid.
Right.
And I don't think he's healthy. If he's still on the questionable list and how he looked, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised to see him on some sort of a minutes restriction tonight.
That's what I was thinking.
If anything happens, if anything happened to him, they're fucked. They're for sure losing that series.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't think he's healthy. I don't think he's healthy. I don't think that he has what it takes to be able to be typical classic Joel Embiid.
I mostly agree with you, and that's what I was thinking. And then you see that line -6.5, and you think, well, damn, is he okay? Like, do the books know that he is okay? Because if he's not healthy, I'm smashing the plus 6.5. I might even smash the money line.
Right.
But I'm still undecided on that one as well. Because if he is healthy, then I love the Sixers. Maybe not the -6.5. I would probably take the 6.5 if I'm being honest at home. But you just don't know. So I'm hoping that some type of news comes out on his health. But like you mentioned, he didn't look good in Game 4 at the end of it there.
No, not at all. And then last night, we had the Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks face off. A lot of controversy going on around that. Last minute, James Harden announced he will be playing the game. Was pretty much a non-factor in the game. But one man who was not a non-factor, Kevin Durant. I'm about to set it back to back, but Kevin Durant, props, huge. I don't even know what more I can say. 49, 15, and 10, I believe,
something
or
like that.
Even more than
legendary game.
Nobody has ever touched that in the postseason, so that is absolutely huge. Should have had the 50 burger, as you said off air, partner. Missed one free throw, and that kept him from that, which absolutely killed it. But he put the game on ice, put the team on its back, battled back, and about halfway through the end of the third quarter, after absolutely getting dragged through the mud for the entire first half. I mean, Giannis was hitting the stupidest three-point shots, and they were getting in the paint at will. I mean, I don't know what changed at halftime, but something definitely changed, and KD entered God mode, for lack of a better term, and we saw the true definition of the easy money sniper last night.
Right. So I think Bucks are going to get Game 6. We'll see. Because like you said, James Harden did not look good. I did not expect that. If he was playing, I was thinking he was going to be fine. The concern might be if he's going to re-pull his hamstring. But
maybe it was just take a little attention off KD.
Maybe. Because he still tried to do his thing, try to get that step back three working, but his legs clearly weren't there in the shot. So I think the Bucks are going to take Game 6. This Bucks team is a good team, man, but for whatever reason, their in-game adjustments are just bizarre sometimes.
Garbage.
And, Giannis, I know there's a lot to be said where you don't want your best player to be giving full effort on defense because you don't want to wear him out on offense. But you have to think that
Give me a break.
Giannis, being the stature and size that he is, might have had a better chance at slowing down Kevin Durant than anyone else on that team. And not to mention, he's taken his own step-back mid-range jumpers, fadeaway mid-range jumpers, like he's Kevin Durant himself, and it's just not that. And I don't get it. And, through that first half, Justin Holiday was playing really well, and then he kind of tailed off, and that's when things started tailing off for the Bucks. But all in all, like I said, I think they'll get Game 6. And Reggie Miller actually tweeted, blasphemous tweet saying, should the Nets consider sitting Kevin Durant and James Harden for Game 6 to put their chips in for Game 7, which James Harden maybe, because he obviously wasn't looking that great, but there's no reason to not play Kevin Durant in that game. That's fucking ridiculous.
That makes no sense whatsoever. And
maybe, certainly he doesn't probably play. I think he ended up playing every single minute of that game last night, if not 47 and a half. I think it was all 48 actually. So certainly doesn't do that for Game 6 because it's not a must win there, but definitely not sitting him for Game 6.
This is the series so far. This is the one that's gone back and forth, minus Game 1 and Game 2, where the Nets look like, all right, this is a 4-0 sweep, no question, no problem. Right. But this one's starting to heat up, so keep your eyes locked, not only to that series, but here. We'll be sure to continue to cover it for you. A little bit of other NBA news. Yikes. Chris Paul enters health and safety protocols for the NBA.
Yeah, so
oh no,
a little bit of overreaction this morning. Maybe it's warranted, maybe it's not, because that was what we've seen throughout the NBA season and throughout the sports season.
Is he done?
This could mean...
Is he over?
This could mean 3 weeks. This could mean a day.
Is he out for the playoffs?
Yeah, this could mean 2 days. Not to mention, they ain't playing right now.
Does he have the Rona?
I don't know.
What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, this could be 3 weeks, which would be terrible, or this could be 2 days, and this is absolutely nothing. And not to mention, they've got about at least 4 or 5 days off, if not a full week off.
Yeah,
anyways.
they got a hot minute.
So, I have to imagine I'm going to play it optimistically and think that he might just be out for a few days of practice, max, hopefully. But who knows, man? Who knows with this shit?
Yeah, obviously we are still living in an epidemic.
Yeah.
See, you caught that. But yeah, obviously we still aren't all the way out of COVID, and it's still kind of affecting some teams here and there. So we'll see, man. Chris Paul has been that rock for the Suns, man. He has been the rock. So,
and I said it yesterday.
They're gonna need him.
Like I said, I think Chris Paul will be back. Who knows? But like I said yesterday, and it's ringing even more true after this news today, might be the healthiest team is going to be the last one standing.
Yeah, absolutely. And in what was a little more normal than last year's COVID year, you kind of had the thought that wasn't going to be a problem this year.
Right.
But now all of a sudden we're getting to the playoffs and guys aren't healthy.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It is going to be an interesting wrap up to the NBA playoffs, and we're covering it all, and we'll give you best bets and all of our hot takes and the rants and reactions. But let's keep it moving right along. The final sport to cover. We won't be covering UFC today because we got it on Friday's show, so make sure you get that. But for the NHL, wrapping it up for today's rants and reactions. Yesterday, took the New York Islanders money line, and obviously that did not go so hot. It was a good game, honestly.
Sure, it was, yeah.
And it ended up being one of those.
Yeah, if you look at the score, it doesn't look like it was.
Yeah, it ends up being when you get into the third period, and then all of a sudden they just gave up some really sloppy opportunities. It ends up being 4-1 or 5-1, whatever it ended. I shut it off after a while, but. Man, I still love this Isles team. I still believe that they go back to New York and get a dominant 3-1 series lead. They are way too damn good at home, and the Lightning, they are good, but I don't know if they can hang there in New York. So I'll probably be playing the doggone Isles as it continues to roll out. Varlamov still standing on his forehead. Don't let those 4 or 5 goals, obviously whatever it was, play into anything. He got so screwed. One bounced off his helmet and hit the top bar and went in. I mean, there was just a few just so close plays, guys sweeping into the middle and getting a puck right on their stick and in. I mean, just very simple things. So I think the Isles still have plenty of time in a 1-1 series tie right now, especially going back to New York. But tonight, my boys I've been backing since the start, wasn't brave enough to lay it on the table today and take their money line for one of my best bets of the day. But I will be hammering in their money line, at least for a half unit play or something on the side, maybe sweeten up an additional parlay if I throw something together. But they are coming in above plus 200 underdogs again against the Vegas Golden Knights, but I don't buy it. I do not think that the Golden Knights are a 4-goal better team than this Montreal Canadiens team at all. Period. Point blank, period. There is nothing that convinces me, and I kind of actually see game 1 between these two teams similar to game 2 last night between the Isles and the Lightning. I just think it was one of those scenarios. I think it got a little rocky there in the third period, and that's just what happens sometimes when you have those neck and neck battles. Couldn't get enough shots on goal. I think that is going to be a very, very, very key part of their game plan today, and I think that their defense continues to remain dominant. Carey Price will remain in form, will get back to his usual self, start standing on his head. I think the Canadians squeak out this one, maybe a little 4-2, 4-3 action.
I think Carey Price is the key.
Yeah, he really is.
The key.
He really is.
He's got to be a brick wall for him.
He's got to show up for sure. So we'll see. I mean, obviously Marc-Andre Fleury showed that he's there. So I don't know. I got to ride with my Habs just because, and you even said it a couple days ago, I feel like if you at least just ride the Habs this entire series, you'll at least come out plus money at some point. So
right. I mean, if you take them again today, you'll already be up plus money since it's over 200. So.
Yeah, exactly, with only half units playing on it. So why the hell not? Might as well hammer them in. We'll see what happens, but I am so looking forward to tonight's NHL action. I'll be make sure to recap that for you tomorrow, talk a little bit of nonsense about that. But that's about all for NHL news, nonsense, anything going on. Let me do just a quick little going through anything we got happening, any breaking news. What do we have happening here?
Won't touch on it too much because we're running a little bit late for time, but a little NBA coach breaking news.
Oh.
Stan Van Gundy, head coach of the Pelicans, is out. Scott Brooks, head coach of the Washington Wizards, is also out. So,
Out of there.
Pelicans gonna try and find someone who can utilize Brandon Ingram's Zion Williamson's strengths to the best of their ability.
Or not.
The Wizards, yeah, because I mean that market is not too attractive, but
No,
Zion
it
Williamson
is
and Brandon
not.
Ingram are attractive. Scott Brooks, that Wizards team could be in for a
Something you
shakeup.
got to tell me, bro?
What's that?
You have your feelings there about Brandon Ingram and the Pelicans?
Yeah, man. I love
Rather attractive fellas?
them. They are
All right.
good looking.
For sure. I feel the same.
But anyways, that should just about do it. For
That'll about do it. There we are, about an hour and a half, right on into it, the usual time. There we go. That does it for today's Rants and Reactions. No major TTL updates, but as always, make sure you visit that link tree in the description so you can see all of our content, all of our socials. We consistently update everything on the socials. You will never miss anything if you, at the bare minimum, follow us there and stop by the show from time to time. But let's get this bad boy wrapped up and get you kind folks, you beautiful gambling people, back on about your Wednesdays. So without further ado, it is time for my motivation minutes, and just a quick little message for you guys here today, but something I thought was very powerful. So, as you know, I've mentioned before, I wake up rather early in the morning. I'm a little bit weird like that, before 5:30 or before, just depending. But I like to spend at least a half hour, 45 minutes doing a little bit of reading, journaling, meditation, prayer, all the above. So this morning, one of my readings, it was called The Sun Commandment. And it kind of, I'll share the message, but it got me thinking in a different direction. And then kind of two parts I wanted to share a message with you today. So first things first, what this message was on, it was basically talking about the sun, S-U-N, not a S-O-N, the sun, and how, what if it didn't shine its light on the ugly, on the bad? What if, because it was the vibes weren't right for the day, or there was negativity in the world, if because there was a little amount of positivity, the sun decided not to shine? And it kind of furthered to go on to, why would you do that to anybody else? Your energy, your aura is like the sun in that matter. Why do you shut off your light, your sun, just because somebody's negative or somebody's, I don't want to say ugly in that form, but the way they present themselves, the way they have their mindset, not physically ugly? And why wouldn't those be the people that you should shine your light on the brightest? Why should you turn your light off and not let it shine for there? And it furthered and closed the point with, imagine if the sun did that. Imagine if the sun just decided not to rise today because there were ugly people in this world. And again, ugly not in a physical sense.
Ugly
but,
personality.
Yeah, ugly personality, negative, whatever the case might be. Imagine that. Imagine how impactful that might be. Now start thinking about that in your life in that form. So that's kind of where my mind got to thinking. So there's kind of two parts I wanted to share with you today. And the first part is, let your light shine, my friends. Whatever your gift is, whatever your abilities that you've been blessed with are, whatever talents you have been given, use those for the betterment of everybody you come in contact with. Anyone you encounter, let your light shine. Let them see that you're bringing positivity and rays of sunshine into every single situation that you come into. And when you find yourself in those negative circumstances, those less than favorable situations, and having to communicate with those less than enjoyable people, crank up the intensity on that sunshine. Turn it up a little bit, and you might be surprised that you can turn around some of those mindsets, some of those negative perceptions, some of those bad thoughts that others have. You might just be able to turn it around if your light's shining bright enough. So why dim it down just because somebody's not on the same level? Don't we want to help each other up to get to the same level? So we're all being successful. We're all happy, centered, and fulfilled. Isn't that the whole goal of this life? So number one, let your light shine. And number two, in the process of doing this, you might come across some of those negative bodies when you're letting your light shine that are going to say, how are you just so happy? You've heard it before.
That's good.
How are you just always you're just so positive all the time?
You've heard it before. I know you've heard it before because I've heard it plenty of times. Well, as my partner said yesterday, I got 2 words for him, first and foremost, and they're not happy birthday. But second of all, let me remind you of this. If those same people, if their light was shining as bright as yours, do you think that they would even take the time to notice that yours was also shining? Or you think they would just carry on about their lives? So keep cranking up that intensity. Keep cranking up that sunshine. No matter what anybody says. No matter what someone tries to tell you that, oh, this life is just so hard. I can't ever catch a break. We'll get there. We'll be all right. No problem. Shed some sunshine on their lives. Shed some light into their being. You'd be surprised how quickly you might be able to turn around a situation or an interaction with just you being the one who's always positive. So today I want you guys to think about that. Think about the deepness of what if the sun decided not to rise just because there was negativity and ugliness in this world? What if? And then think about why should your life, or why should you treat the interactions of your life any different? Start letting your light shine, regardless of the circumstance, regardless of where you're at. Be a light to others who maybe have lost their way on their path. Maybe they were shining bright like you at one point in time, and this life will kick you in the nads from time to time, and it'll dim that light. Maybe they just need your little bit of guidance and help to get their light beaming back up again. And last but not least, if anybody's got the time to tell you that your light is shining too bright, I bet you their light ain't even shining half as bright as yours. So get that energy right. Get that mentality going. Find yourself in a position where people ask, how are you so happy all the time? And if you got to fake it till you make it, you fake it till you make it. But I promise, start letting your light shine and watch a lot of areas change in your life. Don't change for anyone. Don't be any different. Be the raw, real version of yourself and let your talents, gifts, and abilities shine to all those who can see them. And that does it for my Motivation Minutes today.
Good stuff, my man. I love it. You know, I definitely try to adhere to these types of messages on a daily basis. And, the biggest thing, aside from also not only being a light to others, there's some stubborn fucking people in this world. And sometimes their light ain't going to turn around.
Nope.
And you can't let that affect your own light. Because I know a lot of people, whether it's kind of the example you said where it's just randomly and someone says, you do that impression again.
Why are you always so positive all the time?
Right. So whether it's that random example or whether it's a job and you got a job where people are spewing negativity at you, you can't let it affect your own light. Just, that person is who they are for some random reason. And like you said, be a light to them. Maybe you can turn them around, but there's a lot of stubborn people in this world and you cannot let it affect your own light. Because if you know that you're doing you and you got your own light and you are happy, centered, fulfilled, as my partner says, they have no reason to try and turn your light off. So, very good message today, my man.
Hey, I appreciate it. I hear the leveling up in your voice day by day. Little by little, more by more. I'm loving what I'm hearing, pal. You're starting to catch on to these motivation minutes, so I'll keep them pumping and hope you guys got some good inspiration, a little bit of kick and a tush, get you going here today. Some different perspective you might not always get. So that does it for my motivation minutes, and it just about does it for today's episode. The big 6-0 on this beautiful June 16th, 2021. Great show today. A lot of value. 5 best bets. We got the Wednesday Warrior and Wednesday Parlay Pop-Off coming at you. Nice little Moneyline Dice roll. The A's Moneyline and -1.5. And then we got into some real good juicy nonsense in the Rants and Reactions. Now you got some motivation. Let your light shine, my friends. It's time to get on about your day and start breaking down some barriers, start hitting those goals, and last but certainly not least, running tickets to the pay window, baby, because that's what we do at the end of the day. All this other stuff is just micro we toss in to add benefit to your viewing pleasure. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, degenerates, gamblers far and wide, for myself and Mags, we can't thank you enough for stopping by today and joining us for today's battle with the sportsbooks. We hope you guys have a spectacular rest of your Wednesday, unless you have other plans. Let's cash some tickets.